In 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh no, wait, there's no 2, right?
Just no, you don't say 2 or 1.
You don't say 2 or 1. Okay. Fucking shit, Nick.
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to 3NN Podcast with your hosts with the most, Nick Tesla and Brian McFadden.
Welcome everybody to 3NN Podcast number 25. Oh my God, we're at the quarter century mark, bro. We're getting there. My name is Nick Tesla. His name is
Brian McFadden,
and we're here to crack your mind wide open like an egg on a Saturday morning. We got a lot of good stuff to get into, just like every show. So we're gonna dive right into this empty pool. Hopefully, we don't crack our heads wide open like an egg on a Saturday morning. No, you went there again. All right. We're going to start off with Barrett Brown. Barrett Brown, anybody knows? Here's sometimes I like to think of myself as somebody who is following current events and issues and things of that sort, who is following them, but does not always look into everything as much as he should, right? So sometimes I'll know about something, I'll know a name, but I don't know the actual whole story. So I'll tell you what I know about Barrett Brown. Is that Barrett Brown was somebody a lot like me or Brian, except for he was, I don't want to say stupid, you know, like he made some stupid moves, some stupid decisions, that's for sure.
A few.
But I don't want to say he's stupid, but he's somebody like me or Brian who really cares about this stuff, is really interested in it, and then went too far. Like you once you realize shit is fucked up, you realize like, holy shit, I could probably hack into some shit and like steal some info, or I could find some info that's not publicly shared and share it publicly. You know what I'm saying? It may not be publicly shared, but it's also not hidden or it's not private either. I'm not hacking anything. I just know where to look to find this stuff, but it's not shared for a reason. And he went and just said, fuck it, no boundaries, you know what I'm saying? And when you say fuck it, no boundaries, you're running the risk of either dying or being charged with sedition or some sort of conspiracy charges. Or he got conspiracy, right? That's one of his charges, I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to find the charges right now.
Yeah, so what I know is basically what he was charged for, or what I know of what he was charged for, is that he linked to a government document, I believe. He linked to a government document that was already publicly available, but he didn't have authority or was not authorized to link to that document. So he ended up getting charged with some stuff because of that. That's all I know. Maybe he did more stuff. I'm pretty sure he did do a little bit more. But as far as I know, he's just like me and Brian. What really threw me for a loop when I saw Saul's a couple of stories on him. I watched, I think it was on Breaking the Set, Abby Martin's old show, Breaking the Set. I saw her do a thing on it.
From what I gather, somebody, not him, I guess it was Anonymous, or he was writing a book or something defending Anonymous for what they do. And in the midst of that, I don't know if it was Anonymous or somebody else, but they hacked these emails from Stratfor, and that's what he shared, was a link to the hacked email.
But he's not anonymous, though. He was, as far as I know, he wasn't anonymous. What I thought was cool about him is this dude's smoking a cigarette. I don't push or I don't ask anybody or recommend to anybody that they should smoke cigarettes or anything. But it's funny because a lot of activists and a lot of people who put out online content and media, you never see anybody smoking a cigarette on their media, because it's like Stu Webb's the only person I can think that smokes on their media. He was smoking on his thing, and I'm like, oh my God, that dude reminds me of us. It's like, he don't give a shit. He's like, I'm just getting shit done. I want to smoke a cigarette. I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I don't care if
that's
I'm on
what I like
camera
about Matt Drudge as well.
Matt Drudge, what, he smokes on fucking on his show?
You never saw his he doesn't have a show, but his official picture, it's like it's the old-timey press hat and black and white. He looks like he's pulled right out of the 30s with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Nah, it doesn't even ring a bell.
Oh, I love that.
I know of Drudge Report. I was actually just had Drudge Report pulled up. But I don't know about Matt Drudge that well. And I don't really know about my man here. My main man, what the fuck's his name? Barrett Brown. You know, it's funny, Brian? Speaking of Barrett Brown, some people out there, some younger people or even some older people, I don't know, might be saying to themselves, Barrett Brown, yeah, that wrestler, yeah, what that wrestler? He smokes? He can't smoke. He's a wrestler. No, we're not talking about Barrett Brown, the wrestler. But keep in mind, a lot of wrestlers don't smoke. To be honest with you, I've watched a lot of documentaries about it. They do a lot of other hard drugs and fucked up things like that.
I know Hulk Hogan was a
smoking
big
affects your what do you call it? Smoking cigarettes affects your lung capacity. And when you're doing that kind of physical work for 30, 40 minutes straight,
hey, did you ever see the Sandman? This guy, every match, came to the ring.
You ain't got to tell me,
enter
man.
Sandman, smoking a cigarette, drinking beers, and bashing the cans on his head.
And I hated Sandman. I was more of a Tommy Dreamer guy myself, man.
I love the Sandman.
Tommy Dreamer, I think Francine, was that it?
Francine was nice.
Francine was more than nice, my friend. More than nice. And people don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about old school, real life ECW. You want to watch some wrestling. If you hate wrestling, okay, I really, honestly, I don't like watching wrestling.
If you hate the cartoony, kiddish aspect of it,
yeah, the soap opera.
Old ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling from 1994 to about 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
And you'll see what we're talking about.
But it's
not that crap that they put out a few years ago that they called ECW.
But it is soap opera, though. Exactly. The original ECW, not the bought-out ECW that WWF tried to come out with.
No, back in the day with the no-rope barbed wire matches.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There was a lot of hardcore stuff, but there was soap opera. There was drama. But the soap opera and the drama were literally like 5% of the show.
It was adult drama, not kid drama.
It was adult drama for sure, but it was more 5% of the show.
Tommy
it was
Dreamer
more about
got
kicking
Raven's
each other's asses.
Pregnant, and now he has 2 girlfriends?
Dropping somebody through 10 tables stacked on top of each other from like 30 feet up. Dropping somebody through 10 tables. Like, what? Like, you're watching this and you're like, I can't. Somebody getting hit with a barbed wire bat, like Cactus Jack. If you want to watch some of the craziest wrestling matches you've ever seen.
Cactus Jack versus the Sandman, no rope barbed wire match.
YouTube,
search that.
Just YouTube Cactus Jack's greatest hits. ECW. Make sure you put in Cactus Jack's.
I'll take it.
ECW greatest hits. Because Cactus Jack
you
also wrestled in WCW and WWF.
We want to crack your head wide open. You want to see. Just go to YouTube and search Born to be Wired. It's a no-rope barbed wire match when Terry Funk was the ECW champion when he lost the belt to Sabu.
That was actually my favorite wrestler.
That was the one where they got wrapped up, completely intertwined in barbed wire, and he had to let Sabu pin him because he was going to suffocate.
56 or 57 years old at the time. Terry Funk wrestled into his 60s.
He got barbed wire wrapped around his throat in the process. He was on the verge of suffocating. He literally pulled Sabu on top of him. And you can hear him on the video saying, "End it, I don't give a fuck," because he was supposed to win because he was going to face Shane Douglas on pay-per-view the next weekend.
Have you ever done the Sabu point to the sky thing? I do that sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like at different jobs I've had. At different jobs I've had.
The kids in my high school had no idea what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you do it at a job, like if you work in a warehouse or something, you're out in the open, you know what I'm saying? You're around people. And like every now and then, if you want to just like do a goofy move and then keep it moving, there ain't no problem, you know.
You're
still
Rob Van Dam thumb points?
Nah, screw the Rob Van Dam thumb points. That's like I'm just a bigoted, or not bigoted. I'm just a full of myself douchebag. If you're doing the Rob Van Dam thumb points, because all that is just like pointing at emphasizing your name while pointing at yourself. It's like that means you're just full of yourself. That's great. And that was his character, but I didn't like Rob Van Dam because of that.
I didn't like his character, but I like that he was.
I'm more like Raven because he didn't give a shit about himself. Raven did not give a shit, especially ECW Raven. He said WCW Raven was a lot like ECW Raven, but ECW Raven
little tamer.
ECW
Raven was revolutionary for his time.
Well, but he was still
playing that part. Was just so innovative.
Exactly. But
I think he went too far the night that they came out and crucified Sandman with the barbed wire halo. He actually had to come out and apologize for that, and that was the reason Kurt Angle never did business with ECW. He walked out of that show pissed the fuck off.
Good for them, because Kurt Angle's a douchebag. All right, we've just spent about 5.5 minutes longer on wrestling than we probably ever should have.
Yeah, that was fun, though. Memories.
Well, you got some Barrett Brown stuff for me, so we're not talking about Barrett Brown, the wrestler, and we do want to talk about one day. We want to talk about the New World Order of wrestling and its ties and connections to the actual possible real New World Order.
Yeah, I'd really do a show on that one.
Barrett Brown. Brian. Hey, Brian, give me the Barrett Brown breakdown, please.
Well, Barrett Brown was born August 14th, 1981. He's an American journalist, essayist, and satirist. Or is it satirist? I've always wondered, how do you pronounce that? Satirist? Satirist? Someone who's into satire.
I think it's satirist.
He's often referred to as an unofficial spokesperson for hacktivist group Anonymous.
Hey, that's
And
what
he
we're good at,
disputes that
satire,
label, by the
I
way.
think.
He openly disputes that. But he did found Project PM, a research collaboration and wiki to facilitate analysis of the troves of hacked emails and other leaked information concerning the inner workings of the cyber military industrial complex.
Yep. See, that's where he fucked up, because cyber, you want to start
You start getting into that.
Well, here's the thing. You can talk about it, and you can expose what's already been exposed and what's already on the surface. But when you start digging deeper down and start getting away from the surface, and you're digging deep into shit that nobody's really supposed to be knowing about, or nobody outside of those programs supposed to be knowing about, you're fucking yourself up. Aaron Schwartz. I don't even remember the full Aaron Schwartz story, but this kind of reminds me of Aaron Schwartz. You know what I'm saying? But Aaron Schwartz ended up dead. That's the difference. Aaron Schwartz ended up dead. Some weird circumstances. He crashed his car. He ends up dead. This guy, luckily for him, ends up locked up. So maybe, but honestly, I don't know if I'd rather be dead or locked up if I was this guy. Because this guy reminds me of us, even though I would never go that far. I'm not honestly that stupid. And I don't associate with Anonymous, but I support them 100% in what they do.
Exactly.
You know? But I don't associate only because I am fully aware of the cyber intelligence military complex, or whatever you want to call it. I'm fully aware of that, and Anonymous, they think they're anonymous, but I can guarantee you probably 98 to 99% of the people from Anonymous they're identified.
Their
you know
IP
what I'm saying?
addresses are
but it's
locked
like,
no matter what.
It's also keep your friends close but your enemies closer. So the NSA is not like, oh, we got to bust all these Anonymous people. They're waiting until Anonymous does something big, and then they're like, we got all y'all. But Anonymous isn't trying to do nothing big. Anonymous is just trying to do the right thing.
Or do you think they could drop a false flag and say Anonymous was involved, take down a power grid somewhere, blame it on Anonymous? Oh, Anonymous did this, then put out fake Anonymous, we did this.
Maybe that's why they're keeping Anonymous around. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Anonymous honestly has some methods of blocking the tracking methods of the cyber intelligence, military, industrial complex, whatever you want to call it.
All this stuff that they're involved in, and it's like, how are you getting away with it? It is amazing that you're doing it, but how are you doing it? Like,
well, remember,
how are
Brian,
you guys not all in prison right now? Like,
well, remember, Brian, technology is about 20 to 30 years, and I'm not saying that's what the NSA is using, but it's possible. Technology available and already created and invented, I believe, is about 20 to 30 years and more advanced than what we have now.
They say
this is
40.
not companies.
They say 40 to 50.
Okay.
DARPA.
I believe. I'm talking about what I believe. I believe it's 20 to 30. Closer to 20 to 30 than 40 to 50. Could be 40 to 50. But we're 20 to 30 years advanced in our technology that's available at the highest levels, and no corporation's really working on it. Maybe like the biggest of corporations, and it's like some secret basement chip for them. I don't know. But we are 20, 30 years ahead, 20, 30 years advanced in technology. Think about that technology, if it's being used, and think about the politicians that are old school and old. A lot of our politicians are old, so they're remembering the landline. They remember when there was no GPS, no cell phones, all that. So think about the technology behemoth and the things that are possible and that could be possible, especially if you think about what could be possible in the next 20 to 30 years. If you've ever looked into what futurists predict for the next 20 to 30 years, it's pretty crazy stuff, right? Well, if any of that is even possible, and an old 90-year-old or even 60 to 70-year-old politician gets a sniff of that, he wants nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with exposing it, because that's scary to him. That's like that's almost like the devil, because it can infiltrate his whole entire life. He has no personal life anymore, and he knows that. But if he doesn't fuck with them, they're not going to fuck with him. Like, I think a lot of politicians have that thought about the NSA system, because the NSA system, and maybe it's not the NSA system, maybe there's something over the NSA system, like a overlord agency or whatever over the NSA that politicians know about, but they're not really fully aware of what it is or who it is or who's running it and all that. But they know it exists, and they're not trying to rub that the wrong way? How come no politicians come out? Not one politician that I can think of comes out to expose the NSA shit. You know there's politicians that are aware of it. Maybe not with details.
Other things.
Jesse Ventura does, but if Jesse Ventura is
I sometimes
not
I love Jesse
a
Ventura.
technical politician. I can't say governor
Here's
is somebody
my
who's
issue
a technical
with him.
politician.
My issue with Jesse Ventura is...
Even though Chris Christie's a politician through and through.
I love Jesse Ventura. I love everything about Jesse Ventura. But there's just in the back of my mind, he's an actor. He's a wrestler. Is he acting right now? I want to believe he's not. I want to believe he's serious about he could be
Everybody could be acting, dude. Treat your life like the Truman Show, and all of a sudden, shit, fucking, you look at life in a completely different manner. So, what else do you got on Barrett Brown, dude? Because speaking of treating your life like the Truman Show, I got something that's really gonna
allow me to go back to Barrett
mind
Brown
like some cement in an earthquake.
Right now, I'm looking at the Project PM wiki at echelon2.org.
Okay.
But I'm just interested to see what they were about. I didn't get too far into that. But back to Barrett Brown. He has spent over 2 years in FCI Seagoville Federal Prison and at one time faced over 100 more as he awaited trial on an assortment of 17 charges filed in 3 indictments that include sharing an HTTP link to information publicly released during the 2012 Stratfor email leak. That's the link. It was an HTTP link to information that was already publicly released in the Stratfor leak.
What it sounds like to me, Brian, is that
several counts of conspiring to publicize restricted information about an FBI agent.
See, what it sounds like to me is that he was one of the first people to release this information. Not the first people to find it and to put the information out there. He was one of the first people to be a conduit to people like me and you and let us know, like through a Facebook post or a post on a alternative media website or something like that, an article he writes or something. He's literally probably one of the first people to write that or to release that information to the public. And since he's the first person and to them it's so important, he's suspect numero uno, or he's like priority numero uno, and they need to get him and lock him up, even though other people share it. That's what's kind of weird. Like, you ever hear about there were Napster cases and music copyright cases? You ever hear about the music copyright case that was brought against the mother in like California? This mom, like, her daughter had downloaded, I think, like 10,000 songs, and she was ordered, or maybe I think it was 100,000 songs, and she was ordered to pay to each record company for that each song that she stole $3 for each song, or like $1.50 or $2 or something for each song. But the daughter had downloaded 100,000 songs, so it came out to like the mom owed like $300,000, and it was like the main thing that was kind of being said at the time was, why them? What? Everybody is downloading music. Like, almost everybody that has an internet connection is downloading music in one way, shape, or form, or has downloaded music in one way, shape, or form. So why are they being picked out, and why are they being held liable to pay record companies? Like, what's up with that? That doesn't make sense. Because they decided we've got to, like, or they've just decided with Barrett Brown, like, next person that lets out a leak, it doesn't matter. Not the person that actually fucking discovers the leak. The person that tries to give that leak to the public and make their name known for being a whistleblower and releasing this information to all of us, or letting us all know this information and nobody else did. Maybe they said to themselves, like, that's the next person that does that. We're getting them. We're locking them up, and we're going to make their life hell. They're not going to live just a normal life. We're not going to let them escape to another country and get martyrdom or whatever the hell they're getting. Like, we're locking them up. And what's up with him? He's locked up, right?
He is currently locked up in federal prison.
Yeah. Federal
earlier this week,
prison.
By the way, earlier this week, he got his email... Actually, yesterday, he got his email privileges taken away because first, he was a phone-in guest from the prison on the prison phone on the Alex Jones show.
Yeah, federal prison. Yeah, that's...
And he was on the Alex Jones show for about 40 minutes. And he didn't...
Oh, a 40-minute phone call, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they watch the longer the phone call, the more, like, the higher the priority.
Like, he tried to be really careful about what he said and what he didn't, but Then it says here, American journalist Barrett Brown, this is RT Network reporting, who is serving over 5 years in prison for his links to the hacktivist collective Anonymous, had his email suspended for a year after he contacted a journalist about potential wrongdoing by the Bureau of Prisons. Brown found out about the restriction an hour after contacting the journalist and was told his access was restricted for a full year until April 2016 without explanation. Brown had also been in contact with Glenn Greenwald from The Intercept about the possibility of writing for the publication earlier in the week as well. Brown was told, while speaking to a supervisor on April 3rd, Brown was told he lost his email privileges because he was, quote, using it for the wrong thing, end quote.
Yeah, no, but in all reality, if he's being held in jail,
he should not have been on the Alex Jones show. That's what screwed him.
Well, even with his email, think about who he's been emailing and what he's been emailing about.
Well, obviously, Glenn Greenwald and Alex Jones for two.
That's what I'm saying. If he's trying to just continue on with life and I don't say make a name for himself, but just continue on,
and he's talking shit on the prisons.
Well, continuing on
he's
being
in prison,
like, Mr. I'm going to expose the truth and I'm going to talk about the issues that matter and this and that.
That's being
from
stupid.
Prison, that's that's being stupid. So it's like, yeah, you have to kind of defend this guy, and you really hope that if something like that would happen to me or you,
I defend him for the original reason he was locked up.
But
like, even Wired Magazine, in their write-up, was saying, yeah, all he did was share this link, and they're saying this, and this.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people
that,
who do that
I do
kind of
defend
stuff,
him and support
Edward
him on.
Snowden.
But when he does stupid stuff like this.
Edward Snowden was smart the way he released his shit.
And
okay,
it's still coming
Julian Assange and the way that him and WikiLeaks set shit up.
No, you know,
they
here's
were
the
smart
problem,
the
though,
way
with
they
Edward
released
Snowden.
their shit.
Edward Snowden things have been coming out for so long and so slow that it got to the point where the general public, when they first started coming out, they're like, oh my god, and then it was taking so long, so slow, piece by piece. Most people stop paying attention to it. The people like us keep looking for it.
Yeah.
There's people that just gave, like, okay, I'm done with this guy.
Well, it goes right along with that. Most people, probably a good 90% of people out there, don't even think on a daily basis that everything's being recorded. That all their
True.
conversations.
There's times I don't even.
There's plenty of times I don't think about it, but I'm aware of it each day. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware that it's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's plenty of people out there who have completely blocked that out of their brain, and that just goes right along with it. You know, they're interested in hearing it, but once they're interested in hearing it because it's some crazy shit and that it's actually being talked about on the news, but once it is confirmed that it's actually true, they're like, fuck that, let politicians handle that shit. Like, I'm not interested in that, because then they're going to hear me talking about it. You know, think about how people think. People are kind of stupid. So, like, if they're listening to my phone calls and if they have the ability to listen to my phone calls, then they might have the ability to listen to my phone when it's not on a phone call. And I carry my phone with me everywhere. So if I talk about this with anybody, they could be recording me talking about this, and I could be on not some hit list, but I could be on some list somewhere that marks me as being like a dissident, or marks me as somebody that needs to be watched, or somebody that needs to be fucked with, or the bank account needs to fuck up here and there, or some shit. Like, people think crazy shit, but the fact that they think they could be listened to, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
That's the
even after they've been told, yes, we've been listening to you for 20 years.
No, but but that's the reason why nobody will talk about it. Because if it's not confirmed, it's like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, it's almost too crazy to really believe. But once it's confirmed, it's like, it no longer goes from too crazy to actually believe. It's like, it's too crazy to actually think about. So I'm just not going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, blocking it out of my brain, I can't face that truth, you know what I'm saying? But knowing that, I think a lot of people, when it first happened and it was first confirmed, a lot of people were like, the way they got to that blockage is, I don't want to talk about it because I fear that my phone is going to be recording my conversation talking about it, and I'm going to end up on a list somewhere, or something's going to end up happening. I'm going to get in a car accident or something. NSA, you don't want to fuck with it. Like, think about the NSA that's portrayed in the movies. Some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
And the NSA's like close to that too. So you don't want to fuck around, you know what I'm saying? And if you decide to fuck around, or I don't want to say fuck around, but if you decide to actually care about it, it's okay. You can be recorded caring about it because you have every right. We have the First Amendment, you know what I'm saying? We're protected
First
to be
Amendment,
able to talk
Fourth
about
Amendment,
what we want.
Fifth Amendment.
We're able, but if you want to try and be stupid while still paying attention, you can try and look into stuff and hack and see if you can get a hold of fucking leaked emails and this and that aren't shared yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're a guy like me or you and you're not established, the government's going to be like, fuck you. You're locking you to fuck up. Whereas if he was a journalist for Intercept and had been hired at Intercept and been with Intercept.com or whatever for 6 months or a year, it might have been a little bit different of a situation. Might have been a little bit different of a situation.
They probably figured nobody knows who this guy is. No one's going to notice this.
Nobody's going to notice. We just disappear him. You know what I'm saying?
And all of a sudden, it's major national news.
People disappear every day. But you know what the good thing about him is? He's stupid, but he's a mix of stupid and smart, which I like to think I am. As soon as he got into jail, he had people fucking like watching him. So if he ended up getting locked up, there were people that knew, holy shit, what happened to Barrett? Where the fuck's Barrett?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But also, he was contacting
But when you call into a live show like the Alex Jones show from the prison and talk shit on the prison system and what the prison system's doing to you.
And when they say, do you want to make a phone call? He says yes and goes to try and calls his dad. No. He's like, can I make a phone call? Like, he's sitting in his prison cell, like, thinking about shit and thinking, like, what he wants to write and this and that, or thinking about writing an email, right? And all of a sudden, you want to make a phone call? Yes, I do. And he makes a phone call to fucking Alex Jones or some shit. Like, he's been getting those numbers or fucking trying to get them when he's able to get on the computer.
They set it up through email. He was going to be a phone-in guest. I think that might be another part of why his email got shut down. That and the Greenwald connection, but...
Yeah, see, that's the problem, is you can't use prison email. That's the way he was stupid.
You can't use prison email and prison phone to talk trash on what the prison system is doing because they're listening to you do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Look at the background, though. We're looking at a picture of him right now with a cigarette in his mouth. Look at his background, dude. He's in a house. He's just that could be an apartment.
It's regular, everyday,
it's regular.
suburban
He's got a speaker
America.
hanging from the wall with a wire coming down. He's regular,
average Joe America.
Joe. But that's where I think me and you are smart enough that we know not to push buttons when we may not be able to
Especially when they already have you.
Well, here you go. Not to push buttons covered in needles without wearing gloves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And if we don't have gloves, we know not to push that fucking button.
We try not to push that button.
If we accidentally
bump
it, he's the type of guy
walk away,
who doesn't give a fuck if he doesn't have gloves on or not. He's pushing that button.
He slams that thing full fist.
Not even thinking about that when he slams that thing full fist, that it's going to make him bleed, and he might bleed out and fucking die.
Yeah.
He might be fucking himself over just because he really wants to hit that button. I don't want to hit that button if it's going to fucking kill me. I'm not a fucking martyr, dude.
See, now what would have been smart in my opinion? Okay, you have all this wrongdoing that the prison system's doing and all this.
There's enough
here's what you do.
information out
You
there
wait
to
until
share
you
that's
are
already readily
out
available.
of the prison and then you come out with that. You don't do it on their phone while you're still locked in there.
But maybe he's scared he's just going to disappear into the prison system, which does happen. Black
This
site.
is true.
Maybe he's scared he's just if he shuts up, he might just disappear into a black site. And trust me, dude, like I stepped away from Facebook for a year. I thought I had like a following of at least 10, 15 to 20 people that followed me on a regular enough basis that if I just cut off and disappeared from Facebook, they would be like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Like, yo, are you all right? Like, yo, did you get fucking, like, did somebody pick you up? Like, what's going on? Like, we need to figure out what to... Nope. I cut off from fucking Facebook for a year. Like, literally just stopped going on Facebook one day. I think my girlfriend's computer broke or something. I had no other way to get on Facebook. But I stopped going on Facebook for like a year. And after 9 months or like 7 months or something of not being on it at all, I went on. I had one message from somebody like 4 months later, like, yo, Nick, what's going on? I haven't heard from you yet. I don't see you with any posts on your thing. Like, but it was just somebody that I was friendly with, but there was no like urgency or anything like that. They were just like, hey, what happened to you? And then I think like one post on my wall, like 4 or 5 months later, it said like, where you been, stranger, or something from some chick. And it was just like, that's it. And I was like, hold up, something fucked up could have just happened to me. Like, I look into some fucking crazy shit and I try and fucking, not expose it, but I talk about it online with other people and I try and share some fucked up shit with people. And, like, this is after I did grown-up stuff, right?
Like, knowing the kind of stuff you're into, if I messaged you on the day of a show, if you're not getting back to me within, like, 20 minutes, I'm like, shit, is Nick all right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I just from Facebook and not one person gave a shit. Now, if I
I know Homeland Security's only 20 minutes away in Mount Laurel.
If I disappeared from Facebook and I ended up actually getting locked up, and that's why I fucking disappeared from Facebook. If I was locked up and I didn't say anything, and they actually got me off to a black site, and I didn't have email access, I didn't have phone calls, I didn't have any of that, I disappear. Nobody knows. Like, look, I got one post on my wall and a message. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that just speaks to the world. Don't give a fuck about me. Who knows? But maybe for other people it's different. But for me, I disappeared from Facebook for a year. I thought for sure.
Dude, for other people,
somebody would be freaking out.
You freaking know if Miley Cyrus went 1 week without tweeting something, people would think she was dead.
But hear me out. If I was in jail or I got locked up, and within the first like few days or week I got locked up or I was put in a federal prison or some shit, I made it a point to contact some of the people that I knew on Facebook, or at least contact Alex Jones or like a few different news outlets to let them know what my situation is, that I'm just somebody, I'm like a conspiracy and corruption researcher. I'm not a whistleblower, but I'm somebody who likes to research all that, and now all of a sudden I'm locked up for some phony charge that has to do with that. Like, my story would get out.
Yeah.
But if I went in there and I didn't say anything, I'd be done. I could just disappear, and nobody would ever know, because people disappear every day.
But how do you know you would have an opportunity to say anything?
That's what I'm saying.
They might just pick you up on the street and you wake up in a black site.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where he's kind of lucky that he was processed through the system, and you would hope that you're processed through the system. But what I'm saying about him is, if he went into jail and he hadn't said a word, he could have just fucking fallen off the face of the planet, and people would have been like, oh, he probably got himself a job and just been busy, maybe got himself a girlfriend or something, and
well, if his ties were this close with Anonymous, I mean, he's not a member, but people consider him their unofficial spokesperson, so, I mean, it's possible, you know, they would notice. Maybe we wouldn't notice, because we never heard of this guy.
Sometimes I think fucking government just
they would notice.
They'll
and that's a big enough group.
They want to catch somebody for being stupid, right? And this guy was being stupid.
Being stupid.
No. But for you want to be the unofficial spokesman of an anonymous organization. Do you not see that?
Yeah.
Do you not see where that makes
I got you.
absolutely no sense? Even if you say unofficial, okay, I see how you're not official, you're unofficial, so it's not official. Okay, but the unofficial spokesman for an anonymous organization? Then, hold on. Then it's no longer anonymous. It has a head, and you are that head. And the government, as soon as the fucking government, who's you're probably your biggest enemy, as soon as they notice what your head is, you cut that fucking head off. Or you at least detach that head from its group. And what did they do? They put him in jail, trying to get him to detach himself. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to do it. So now they've detached him, like, not I don't want to say permanently, but they detached him from himself. They detached him from the internet. He's not going to be able to make. He might be able to make phone calls, but they might restrict his phone calls to who he's allowed to make phone calls to. When you're in prison, you're their bitch. That whatever they decide, whatever the wardens and the fucking and the staff at the prison decide, and the court decides, and the judge and shit, who are very close with the fucking warden and shit, whatever they decide. That's what your fucking life is. So if the warden goes to the judge and says, "Listen, he's been making calls to Alex Jones or to Infowars," and judge is like, "Infowars, what's that?"
And he was appearing live on. He appeared live on the air on the Alex.
That's what I'm saying.
Show,
he's appearing on shit and using his airtime for that, and using his email time to
try to get jobs at the Intercept.
Exactly, trying to get.
Well, what do you think he's going to do if he gets that job? He's going to expose that.
We need to take all that stuff away, and the judge is going to say, "Yeah, here, let me sign that order. No problem. Yeah, for the next 90 days, he doesn't have all that."
Yeah.
And if he tries to break that rule,
they did it for a year.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, 1 year.
They're trying to just disappear him from the scene, and I think it's more of a statement. I don't think it's more of like. One, I guess because he's stupid, they took advantage of it. I'm not saying he's stupid. I hate to say he's stupid. He's stupid.
Smart, but he's stupid.
No, he's smart, but he's stupid.
Going on the Alex Jones show was stupid.
He's stupid just as much as me or you is.
Not when you're in prison.
He's stupid just as much as me or you is.
Not even going on the show.
But in different ways.
But
in different aspects.
Shit-talking the prison system live on the Alex Jones show while you're in prison is the stupidest...
Stupid, but you know what? The dude's got some balls because you know what? I've known people that have gone to jail and been scared to fucking death of the whole experience, and they're just quiet. They're not trying. They think if I make a phone call to Alex Jones or I email fucking news organization or something or a website trying to be a journalist for them, then they're gonna look at that as being as breaking rules or doing something that I shouldn't be doing. And I don't want to. I want out of here as soon as possible. Like I've seen people go to jail and they're like scared. and they just want out, and they're scared until they get out. You know, after a few weeks or whatever, they loosen up a little bit, but they're still scared. They're not trying to break any rules. They're trying to get the fuck out as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're talking on the phone, once their time is up, unfortunately, that's it. And like, it's not, if you're on the phone with them, it's not like, oh, let me ask them if I can get a little more time, like this and that. That's it. And you know what I'm saying? They're ready to go. When it's time to go, they're ready to go. It's like, it's a whole different experience, whereas this guy's got a little bit of balls where he goes into jail and he's like, fuck that. I'm using my shit for what I want to use it for. I have every right to use it for this, and I have every right to use it for that. I don't know.
You make fun of it a lot. I was listening to the Alex Jones show that day earlier this week, and when he said Barrett Brown's going to be our guest in the second hour, he's calling in live from prison, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is not a good idea. Right then. And then he gets on there, and within 5 minutes of the conversation starting, he's going on about the abuses of the federal prison system and the injustices and all that. Like, dude, you're not helping yourself.
Like, that's not smart, dude. That's just not smart. But then again, like, he's put under pressure right now, and like, that's him.
What was really creepy,
but no, is that not him? Is that not him and that not his life? If you were put in jail, would you not, like, part of you might get scared, but what if you didn't get scared? You wouldn't say, I'm not talking about any of that. You're like, that's who you are. That's what you talk about, especially now that you're locked up for some fucked up shit.
Well, no, basically what he did was, like, Alex is trying to get him to talk about some of the stuff he was arrested for. He's like, well, I'm under gag order. I can't talk about that. But I will tell you, the prison's doing this. Like, dude, no.
Yep. Well,
that's just the wrong move.
Kind of a dummy, dude. He's kind of a dummy,
wrong
but hey,
move.
I'm saying he's kind of a dummy, but I'm also at the same exact time saying I'm kind of a dummy as well, because I'm almost just as stupid, just in different ways, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? So, to each his own. Like, in all reality, he's made a name for himself. So if he gets out of jail a year from now, he could be one of the greatest journalists for 10, 15 years. Like, who knows what his future is right now? He could have a bright future ahead of him because of this.
Can't you just picture it now?
Right.
Barrett Brown, Infowars.com. Yeah, I see it already. The way they were talking over on that.
Honestly,
now, this is what was funny though about it. I don't know if you realize this. I didn't know this before this week. Every, like, 10 minutes during the call, it would beep in. It would be like, beep, this call is from a federal prison.
Yeah.
Just like as a reminder that you're talking to somebody in a federal prison.
That's what jail calls do.
It's like, why?
All jail calls. I'm pretty sure all jail calls.
See, I'm pretty sure you could get away with just saying that at the beginning of the call and not...
No. All jail calls say that throughout the call to remind you that you're being recorded and that it's a jail call and that it's... And not to remind the prisoner, screw the prisoner, who cares if they know?
Yeah.
Remind the person on the other line because you're an innocent...
Well, the first time it did it, Barrett's sitting there, he's like, yeah, it's a friendly reminder. Jones, who cares? We're streaming live anyway. Like...
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's crazy. He's a little bit stupid, but he's not as stupid as... he's not actually stupid. I'm not saying he's like...
Yeah, he's not like...
I don't know about all... He's pretty smart because...
He's not stupid, but... you can't even really say street smarts, but it's common sense, I guess?
I don't know.
A bit of common sense is lacking there. Let me trash talk the prison system while I'm in prison.
You know what, though? You know what? Maybe I'm just as stupid as him, because sometimes when you're... following so many different current events, stories, especially if he's involved with Anonymous, there's a lot that different things that he's involved in or following, right? If you're following so many different things and then you're involved in a couple of those different things, you're in such a whirlwind, you're not really paying attention to what's going on.
Oh, plus his own group that monitors the cyber military industrial complex.
Think of it this way. If you're carrying 10, 15 logs, and your vision is blocked in front of you, and you kick a cat, that's like because you were carrying those 15 logs, not because you like kicking cats. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense. When your hands are full, it's hard. Sometimes you can make mistakes. Sometimes you can do a stupid thing when you're not really a stupid person. You know?
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else on Barrett Brown? Because I got some stuff to shoot through here.
I think we pretty much hit all the important stuff on Barrett Brown. I mean,
yeah. I think we fucking kicked.
He's
ass
in
on
jail.
that,
He
man.
beat the. They dropped the charge for the HTTP link, but he's still serving 63 months
Shush.
on the other charges. But then he went on his email and on a live radio show and talked a bunch of shit about the prison, and now he
that's not a
has
good way to,
no email access. That's pretty much.
You gotta be smart when you're in prison. As far as like, think about Freeway Ricky Ross. When he was in prison, he was locked up on some bullshit charges. There weren't some bullshit charges. There were some real charges. But he ended up finding out about Iran-Contra and Ollie North and all that. And he started studying law in the prison library. Every chance he got, every chance he was allowed to go to the prison library, he started studying law in the prison library. One, he taught himself to read in the prison library, but also studied law and figured out that he was screwed over and that there was a giant conspiracy and that he was just a pawn in that conspiracy and there's no legal reason or justified reason for him to be in prison. And he literally overturned his own case. Freeway Ricky Ross, the first crack dealer in America.
Yeah.
If you ever look up Gary Webb's,
Gary Webb.
what is it, Gary Webb, Dark something? Dark Alliance. I believe it's Gary Webb, Dark Alliance. Yeah, that's it. Great book, even though I only read like about 3 pages of it. Great book, I
dude.
sold it. Yeah, I sold it before I got rid of it. But, great book, but that's kind of what it is. You got to be smart while you're in prison. You got to you got to play the rules. And see, a lot of guys are like, they'll go into prison and they're junkies or not, they're druggies or they like to drink. They like to get fucked up, right? So they go into prison and all of a sudden they realize they can still get fucked up on fucking toilet wine, which sucks. But if you smoke weed, you can get weed fucking smuggled into prison. I guarantee you, fucking, if it was really ever investigated, it would be found out that there's more drug dealers in prisons, in the prison staff of the United States prison systems than there are in each individual town. You know? There's like 3 drug dealers in the staff and 1 in the town. You know what I'm saying? It's like some crazy shit. I don't know, dude. I don't know how the fuck they get weed. But people go into fucking jail and they're able to still get fucked up. So to them, they're like, I'll follow the rules as long as I can still get fucked up. And they're allowed to get fucked up. You know, as long as they're not blatant and out in the open about doing it, they're allowed to get fucked up. And, you know what I'm saying? They're a prisoner. Like, they're happy. The fucking staff is happy. And everybody's good to go. But when you don't want to get all fucked up, you don't want to smoke no weed, or you don't want no fucking antidepressants or anything like that, all of a sudden they're like, this motherfucker, like, he just wants to get the fuck out of here. He just wants to live his fucking normal life. No. You come in here, you either got to be docile and get all fucked up, or you got to fucking just shut your mouth and follow the rules and keep your head down. Because if you try and be yourself and you try and do whatever you want to do, like keeping your head down also involves your emails and your phone calls. You call your family, you email your family or your closest friends, and you talk about how hard jail is. You don't talk about like how much jail's a fucked up thing and the prison system is fucked up and this and that.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like if he was a journalist for a year for a reputable website, it would be a different situation. That's his business. That's his work. That's his life. But since he's not an actual paid journalist and employee of a website, and he's the unofficial spokesperson for Anonymous, they're like, fuck you, dude. We're throwing you in jail. Fuck you. That's what it sounds like they were saying, though. Right.
Kinda. I kind of get that. I think it's more...
Yeah.
I think it's not even... I think it's more... Oh, really? You're in jail and you want to talk shit on the jail and expose us now that we just arrested you for exposing something else? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You get no email,
Well, of
bitch.
course, it's all
Like-
monitored. That's what I'm saying. Is like that's why that noise was coming through. Because in some states you're required to. I'm sure with federal prisons, it's just every prison has it that way. In some states, you're required to inform both parties or at least one party that if you're recording a voice conversation. If you're recording a voice conversation between 2 people, you're required, or even 10 people, there's some states where it's either both parties or at least one party is required to be informed that they are being recorded.
Yeah.
So that could be where that comes from. All right. I wanted to touch on, how do I put this, Brian? You're at home base. You fucking kicked ass at home base with Barrett Brown, dude, and I thank you for that. Now I'm going to take us over to the left field fence.
Oh,
Okay, and I'm not hitting a home run. We're just going to run out to the left field, and it's a wooden fence, and we're going to run straight through that motherfucker fucking,
Oh.
what's it, Wile E. Coyote style.
Okay.
Or the Roadrunner style. Meep, meep. We're just going to fucking plow right through that left field fence and go in a whole nother direction. But we were going to go this direction anyway today, so I'm glad that we got to, like, kind of divvy it up and talk two different things here, you know. And we're actually, we're circling around outside the outfield. We're not just heading straight out into left field. We're circling around, so that'll give you an idea. We're not clinging on to any one thing from this point forward. But I loved the home base there. Barrett Brown, like, this dude's us, dude. We got to support this dude. We really got to fight for this dude.
But if he keeps doing stupid shit like that, what can we do for him? I mean, come on.
We got to send him letters and work with him, you know, talk to him.
Dear Barrett, stop being a dumbass.
No, but you know what? We got to work with him, and I don't want to say that if he's willing to work with us, he's willing to talk to us. You know, we got to help him out, and he can help us out. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a voice. We have a voice, but our voice isn't really heard. His voice is being heard right now. You know what I'm saying? We're a little more rational, a little more, I don't want to say smart, but a little more street smart, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
World
when
smart?
When it comes to certain things. Conspiracy smart. I don't know how the hell you want to say it. But we can help him with that. And being a little more rational and being a little more stepping outside of the box and thinking about what you're doing and thinking about if it's going to get you in trouble. And is it really worth being locked up in a federal prison to leak an email? You know what I'm saying? Or if you really need to do that, why didn't you set yourself up like an outside of the country like getaway and then leak it, or leak it and then fucking
wait till you get out of jail.
Yeah.
It's that simple. 63 months. You can wait till you get out of jail to do that.
All right. So off to left field we go. All right. What I have in front of me here, Brian, is something very important. And we could get a lot of people that have just turned this shit off. But you know what? Maybe we won't.
Okay.
And let's hope they don't, because this is pretty interesting shit. I'm gonna jump from every fifth one I see. I'm gonna read, because there's probably about maybe almost 100 of them here.
At the very end, I have a little blurb.
Brian's got blurb. Well, if we got to pause. You got to go to the bathroom. You want to drop your blurb off or what?
No, it's just a little interesting article I found.
Browns to the Super Bowl.
It's
Johnny
definitely.
Manziel.
If you're going left field, I'm going right field. Like.
Well, let me go left field, and then I'll let you go right field, and then we'll finish it off with center field. All right.
Okay.
Right here I have in front of me the Ferengi rules of acquisition. If anybody doesn't know.
What the hell?
The Ferengi are and this is my business mind.
Okay, now you've piqued my interest.
The Ferengi are a alien race in the Star Trek universe, okay? I don't even think they exist in the new Star Trek movies. Maybe they do. But the Ferengi
just
are
Next Gen and Deep Space Nine.
The Ferengi remind me of, and Voyager. The Ferengi remind me of Wall Street fat cats. That's what they remind me of.
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck about anything, not even their mother or their brother, but money. And making money and business and making good business that only profits them. Okay? Now, that's the Ferengi, and this is from the Star Trek universe. If you know us, I'm kind of a fan of Star Trek.
Yeah, we kind of like that.
I don't watch it as much as I
and series.
Used to. I haven't watched it
movies.
in a while. It's been probably 6 months since I watched any Star Trek. All right. Number one, and they're not 1 through 100, or there's 500, I believe.
Like, the rules of acquisition are basically like the Ferengi, like their laws. Like our Bill of Rights, their constitution.
No, it's their commercial code.
Their commercial code?
The Ferengi commercial code. We have the
FCC?
No, we have the UCC. No, the FCC's
Ferengi Commercial Code, FCC.
The UCC is I don't know if it's United States or just United Commercial Code. Or Universal Commercial Code. That's what UCC is, Universal Commercial Code, which almost all like conglomerate companies and shit like that participate in and have to adhere to.
This one's the Ferengi Rules of Acquisition. It's the FRA.
One day, on an episode, if anybody hasn't heard about it by now, check out Brainstorming with Brian McFadden and Nick Tesla. We're going to be doing another USA as a Corporation episode on there, and that ties in. The UCC is very important when you talk about the United States as a corporation. When the UCC was implemented, things changed. Shit changed overnight. Business dealings changed overnight. So we'll talk about that one day. All right, but this is the FCC, the Ferengi Commercial Code. Number one, I'm jumping every 5 that I see. Number one, once you have their money, never give it back. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Just go down the list. Let's spend some time on this. Just read the whole thing.
Well, there's a lot of like doubles and shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna jump to every other one. How about
Or just do the best you can to hit all the important
let's
ones.
meeting in between, right? You said every one. I said every 5. So meeting in between.
Well, no, if you're saying
is
there's
every
doubles,
3, or
we
one,
don't-
every other one.
Try not to read doubles.
I won't read doubles. I'll try not to. Exactly. All right. Number 1. Once you have their money, never give it back. Number 6. Never allow family to stand in the way of opportunity.
Wow.
And that fucked
Yeah,
it. The Ferengi are fucked up.
they are.
All right, number 7. There's 2 6s, so that's why I'm jumping to 7. Number 7. Keep your ears open, and they have giant fucking ears. Number 9. Opportunity plus instinct equals profit. Ooh, I like that one. 13. Anything worth doing is worth doing for money. I'd love to make these into motivational.
Is this the Rothschild Manifesto?
Think about it. Think about it, bruh. All right. 17. A contract is a contract is a contract, but only between Ferengi.
Wow.
Yeah. 19. Satisfaction is not guaranteed. You gotta love them. 22. A wise man can hear profit in the wind. 27. There's nothing more dangerous than an honest businessman.
Ooh.
Yeah. 33. It never hurts to suck up to the boss. Ooh, ain't that the truth? 35. Peace is good for business. That is one of the most profound truths I think we've again touched on. All right. 41. Profit is its own reward. Well, a lot of people say that. All right.
Eek.
45. Expand or die. That's like I believe that personally. It's a motto of mine almost. 48. The bigger the smile, the sharper the knife. Very true. 52. Never ask when you can take. 58. There's no substitute for success. 60. Keep your lies consistent.
Wow.
65. Win or lose, there's always Hyperion beetle snuff. 76. Every once in a while, declare peace. It confuses the hell out of your enemies.
I love that one.
82. The flimsier the product, the higher the price. Ain't that the fucking truth? 89. Ask not what your profits can do for you, but what you can do for your profits. And the profits as far as, not profits like your saints or anything spiritual, your money profits. Isn't that funny? 97. Enough is never enough. 99. Trust is the biggest liability of all. Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
103. Sleep can interfere with profit.
Oh.
106. There's no honor in poverty. Wow. 111. Treat people in your debt like family. Exploit them.
What?
113. Always have sex with the boss. 121. Everything is for sale, even friendship. And
Wow.
125. You can't make a deal if you're dead. Wow, all right.
Wow.
All right. 141. Only fools pay retail. Ain't that the fucking truth? That's oh my god. Some of these are my mottos. I'm a good businessman, I'll tell you what. 162. Even in the worst of times, someone turns a profit. Wow.
Yeah, the military-industrial complex. Oh, I'm at World Bank.
177. Know your enemies, but do business with them always. 189.
No comment.
189. Let others keep their reputation. You keep their money. 192. Never cheat a Klingon unless you're sure you can get away with it. Number 202. The justification for profit is profit. Number 208. Sometimes the only thing more dangerous than a question is an answer.
True.
Number 214. Never begin a negotiation on an empty stomach. Yeah. Number 218. Always know what you're buying. Number 229. Latinum lasts longer than lust.
Latinum is money to the Ferengi.
Latinum, no, yeah, I guess
Gold
so.
press Latinum.
Gold pressed Latinum is like, I want some of that. It's the good shit.
So money is
The bling to them.
Yeah.
All right,
More-
yeah,
wow.
money lasts longer than lust, that's for sure.
That's actually
239. Never be afraid to mislabel a product. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the world of GMOs.
Or welcome to the world of mainstream media. Number 255. A wife is a luxury. A smart accountant is a necessity. Whoa.
Wow.
Number 263. Never allow doubt to tarnish your love of Latinum. This is some good ones, though. Number 284. Deep down, everyone's a Ferengi.
Oh.
Number 286. This is Quark's rule. When mom leaves, it's all over. And then the last but not least, exploitation begins at home.
Oh. Wow.
So, Brian, you said you had something else you wanted to touch on for us?
This is kind of interesting. This just popped up.
Okay.
Apparently, this is from a site called ancientcode.com, who I've never heard of before 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
The article that caught my attention, researchers find a 250 million year old microchip in northern Russia.
Oh. No.
So I figure, let's see what that's about. And
What was that headline again? Could you read that for me?
Researchers find 250 million year old microchip in Russia.
Yeah. It's all cyclical, Brian. How long has this planet been here? 4 billion years? 7 billion years? What the hell do they say? No, we got 7 billion
There's
people.
a million different...
I think it's been here 4 billion years, maybe even 40 billion years.
Object that researchers found is believed to be some sort of ancient microchip, and according to researchers, dates back millions of years.
This is 3NN. This is 3NN right here, Brian. This reminds me of the watch. Have you ever heard about the mini watch that was found in rock? That was found encased in like 2,000, 3,000, or no, 4,000-year-old rock. This mini watch, but it was a Rolex. Mini Rolex watch, working, fully functional, gears and everything watch, was found entombed in stone. That there was like no way that the stone was formed 4,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Formed. It was the stone was formed around it. Like, so it was left there 4,000 years ago? Who the fuck? Wait, Rolex watch. It's all fucking cyclical, dude.
Yeah.
It's all fucking cyclical. So then when you think about ancient giants that ruled America or whatever you want to think, okay, but that was a miniature watch.
Well,
So were there miniatures
they're also
too?
looking at the theory that they've dated it back between 225 and 250 million years, but
Oh yeah, the microchip.
they're,
Dude, that's
they're of course considering the possibility that it's from another planet.
Okay, it could be from another planet, but also think of the Antikythera device. Have you heard about the Antikythera device?
That I don't believe I have.
The ancient computer that was found, I think it was did they say a 2,000-year-old? Maybe a 5,000-year-old? I'm not even sure. You know what? That's one thing that I can pull up in 2 seconds. Antikythera device. Antikythera mechanism is an ancient analog computer. Come on, Wikipedia. Alright. Ancient analog computer designed to predict astronomical positions and eclipses for calendrical and astrological purposes, as well as the cycles of Olympic Games. Found housed in a 340 by 180 by 90 millimeter wooden box, the device is a complex clockwork mechanism composed of at least 30 meshing bronze gears. Its remains were found as 82 separate fragments, of which only 7 contain any gears or significant inscriptions. The largest gear, clearly visible in fragment A at the right, is approximately 140 millimeters in diameter and originally had 223 teeth. The artifact was recovered in 1900 and 1901 from the Antikythera shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera. Believed to have been designed and constructed by Greek scientists, their instrument has been dated either between 150 to 100 BCE, or according to a more recent view, at 205 BCE. After the knowledge of this technology was lost at some point in antiquity, technological artifacts approaching its complexity and workmanship did not appear again in Europe until the development of mechanical astronomical clocks in the 14th century.
Jeez!
1,400 years later. It took them 1,400 years. So do you almost think that might have been a leftover technology that was left over from the previous civilization that they had found and were just using? I don't know, Brian. I don't know.
Quite possible.
I think it's all cyclical. I think this civilization we have now is going to wipe out. And there'll be 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 100 human beings left and other animals and stuff left. And we restart. Everything starts back up. By the time we get to the point we have now, our pets could be freaking, what do you call it? Llamas. Llamas could be the most popular freaking house pet, or kangaroos.
Yo,
You know?
I want a pet
How do you stop
llama.
your kangaroo from smashing your TV? You know what I'm saying? They got to get socks, or you got to like strap them down to the floor or something. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm even talking about, Brian.
I don't either.
That's some crazy shit, though, dude. The microchip and
it's.
Yeah, I think it's from this planet, but it could definitely be from UFOs, dude. Definitely.
Especially being in Russia, they have so many...
Soviet Russia, car drive you.
Lots of instances of UFOs there.
In Soviet Russia, UFO, watch you. Right? Alright. Brian, do you have anything else for me? Because I'm about to fuck your head up before we wrap this show up.
Let's hear it. Let me hear what you
almost
got.
at an hour, B-Rye. We are at an hour. Holy bejeez, son.
Well, you better hurry up and get to that, sir.
I'm going to get to it, son. I'm going to get to it. Okay? I would like to just play some background. Ding, 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 ding.
What the heck?
Oh, come on. Ah, what's it called?
I don't know. You're not telling me anything.
What? Journey with Jesus?
Is it, you're playing Journey with Jesus? What?
Don't hate. Don't
hell
knock
is
it till you
this?
try it, broseph.
Journey
Don't
with...
knock it till you try it, broseph. Alright, now, Brian, I'm not going to give anybody any real details other than Brian is somewhat of a religious person, okay? Somewhat of a religious person. And he believes in God. That's his belief, right? You have a belief
I
in God,
believe
right?
there's a God.
Okay. But you believe you're Christian as well. Are you Christian or no?
Non-denominational.
Non-denominational. So it's Christian
My
but
God,
non-denominational. Okay, I
like,
understand.
it's Christian-based, but I don't know if there's any actual religion, any established mainstream religion that shares my
But do you
specific
believe in the
views.
Bible at all? Do you believe in the Bible? The
Parts of it,
Bible? Okay,
good.
okay.
Actually, a majority of it.
Alright, cool.
But then there's areas where I think either those stories were thrown in to mislead, or there's facts being intentionally withheld.
Okay, I want to give you a little insight into what I believe, Brian. I have plenty of this, and on each show I'm probably going to share a little bit of it. And I credit where credit is due for some of it. This credit for what I'm about to read goes to Chris Watson in 2007. He wrote this, and it's labeled under. It's on a it's on a site called thebicyclingguitarist.net. That's what's funny. I printed this out in 2009. He wrote in 2007. I can't believe it's almost 10 years later. Philosophy and metaphysics it's under on that page. So there's a homepage and then there's philosophy and metaphysics. What the fuck is philosophy and metaphysics doing on thebicyclingguitarist.net? Oh, I guess it's just this guy, Chris Watson. All right, anyway, Brian, you gotta tell me to shut up sometimes.
Shut up, Nick!
All right, Brian, are you ready? Here we have something to share. I have something to share, Brian. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
I want to hear it. I need you to really pay attention though, because it's going to fuck your head up a little bit.
Is it?
Pardon my language. Alright, this is what this guy wrote, but I fully agree, and that's why I printed it out. This is kind of what I believe. I believe Jesus Christ, if he existed, had an experience of cosmic consciousness similar to what was experienced by Buddha, Ramana Maharshi, and many other people throughout history. Jesus apparently tried to communicate this experience to his followers as best he could, limited by the language and cultural concepts of his time and place. It is possible that each of us is a function of what the whole cosmos is doing at a point called here and now. In effect, each of us is the whole universe looking at itself through our eyes. The universe is conscious and self-aware, aka God, and this awareness and consciousness is within each of us. In other words, what happened to Jesus was not a unique experience that only happened to one man in all history and prehistory, but something that each of us can experience directly when we tune into the consciousness that is the base of our existence. I read the exact same Bible as the Christians do, yet I see Jesus teaching us the same message taught by Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Consider the following verses along with the interpretation I offer as an alternative to the mainstream Christian interpretation. John chapter 10 verses 30 to 36 from the King James Bible. 10:30. I and my Father are one. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered them, Many good works have I shewed you from my Father. For which of those works do ye stone me? The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God. Jesus answered them, It is not written in your law, I said, Ye are gods? Is it not written in your law, I said, Ye are gods? If he called them gods unto whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken. Say ye of him whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, Thou blasphemest, because I said, I am the Son of God? The King James Version of the Bible has "the" in italics before Son of God, in verse 36. This is not for emphasis, as some may think, but shows words interpolated by the translators. In this case, they were mistaken. The original Greek does not have an article before Son of God, which in Greek is equivalent to having an indefinite article. In the original Greek of this scripture, Jesus did not say he is the Son of God. He said, I am a Son of God. He also quoted Psalm 82 that says, Ye are gods. John chapter 14, verse 12, King James Bible.
So,
14:12.
not to interrupt, but
Yeah.
apparently what I get from that is when it was translated to English, it was not translated correctly.
No, there's a lot of parts of it that were not translated correctly. You are correct in saying that, yes.
Yeah, that's why I
That
say,
it
like,
was
there's
not
things I
translated.
question.
But there was parts that they knew that they weren't. That's why the
Yeah.
"they" is in italics, because they knew that they may have messed that up, that they may have gotten that word wrong, or they may be mistranslating that word. They're not fully understanding what that word was supposed to be, right? Okay. John chapter 14, verse 12, King James Bible. I tell you the truth. Anyone who has faith in me will do what I have been doing. He will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father. Jesus says they're ordinary humans he left behind, who, according to traditional Christian mythology, are not divine as he is, will do greater things than Jesus did. I put those words in all caps to emphasize them. He will do even greater things
I
than
promise
these.
to you this,
Yeah.
to always give you what you
John chapter 17, verses 21 to 22, King James Bible. That they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. Again, I put some words in all caps to emphasize them. It seems pretty clear to me that Jesus says we can be one with the Father just as he was. In other words, what happened to him is not something unique that could only happen to him, but it can happen to each of us. Jesus even prays that we can experience it too. Now, many Christians will protest that Jesus says quite plainly, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. I agree, but perhaps not the way that Christians would like me to agree. It is my opinion that this I am, this me that Jesus speaks of, is the big self of divine consciousness, not the little self of the ego that is within each of us and was consciously realized by Jesus. Here's a plausible explanation of what happened. Jesus tried to explain his experience of cosmic consciousness as best he could, using the language and concepts available to him from the culture of his time and place. Awed by his miracles, the disciples of Jesus missed the point of what he was trying to share with them. They distorted the meaning of his message and worshiped the messenger instead. Christianity does not teach the religion of Jesus, which was the realization of his divine sonship, but the religion about Jesus, a castrated version of the gospel that puts Jesus on a pedestal and says that only he and nobody else is divine. For further study, I recommend anything by the late author, philosopher, and spiritual entertainer Alan Watts, but especially pertaining to this subject, Myth and Religion 3, Jesus, His Religion, that I paraphrase portions of on this page. Alan Watts does a great job of explaining Eastern philosophies to Western audiences, and he is also good at explaining what mainstream Christianity teaches, even if he doesn't necessarily agree.
I want to link to that article. Where'd you get that?
I'll have to find it for you. In at least one of his audio files, Alan Watts makes the point that if Jesus had been born in India, he would not have been crucified. When Jesus told others that he and the Father were one, they would have said, "Congratulations, you finally figured it out." You can find that on the bicyclingguitarist.net, and then look under their philosophy section if it even exists anymore. I printed that out in 2009, so if not, I'll retype it up and put it up. I have a couple more things, Brian, and then I'm done. If you're,
I'm just going to throw this out there real quick while we're in between things. I am still the only signature on our petition that we set up last week on 3NN to make War is Racket mandatory reading for all high school students before graduation.
I posted it on mine.
I did as well. You people need to sign it. We need your support on this.
Jackasses. These jackasses.
Just thought I'd give them an update.
That's 3NN though. That's not 3NN. That's Brains.
No, we did that on 3NN during the Jade Home discussion.
And it has been called by many
Sure.
names.
110% sure.
Okay, cool. Alright.
Which you are.
This is just gonna give you an idea of what I'm saying here. Hopefully what do you call it? Hopefully it makes sense, because it's literally just a scribbled note that I could have written in the middle of the night.
This ought to be good.
Okay, but this will give you an idea. I want to start a group called the Unconditional Love Police. Okay? We have to push to bring back charter limits. Charter limits are important. Yes, they are. Yes, they
Okay.
are. Okay. And here is charter limits for businesses, by the way. And here's what what I wrote. All right, there are trials and tribulations going on in all of our lives. Whether we have faced them yet or not is another point altogether. But if these trials and tribulations were not ending in peace and understanding, the world would be going to shit, which in a sense it is. Yet the individual is not. The individual is finding peace and solace for the most part. Therefore, inevitably, all these individuals creating their realities collectively are guiding the planet through its major trial, and as with our individual selves, will soon reach peace and understanding. Which means, as with the old world reality, out with the old world reality, in with the new. Old equaling fear. Oh. Old reality equaling fear. New reality equaling love. So, yeah, we got to get through this shit time. But you know what? There are a lot more people waking up. A lot more people are waking up to understand, like, what's important and what's the truth. There's still a lot of scumbags out there, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
But,
The world's full of them.
no, it's not full of them. That's like saying that's looking at the glass half empty, if you ask me.
I am looking at the glass half empty.
All right, whatever. My head's fucked up. All right, I'm gonna end it on this. I don't know. Unless you had something else, I got just a little quote here.
I'm gonna see real quick if there's any breaking news. Well,
Brian, what do you got? Oh.
we got massive Obama scandal brewing. Comes with a 10-year prison sentence. How many times have we heard that the president might go to jail? Too many without results. That's my 30-second.
All right, cool. I like that, Brian. All right, so I guess everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us on this 3 and N Thursday. My name's Nick Tesla. His name's
Nick Tesla.
No, his name's Brian McFadden.
I love doing that.
Fucker.
I love doing that.
All right, anyway, everybody have a great week.
No, my name
been a
is
lot of
Nick
fun.
Tesla. Stop pretending you're Nick Tesla.
What do everybody got to check out? The Battle On For Your Brain.
There's a battle on for your brain on brainstorming.
It's hard to get it'll.
I gotta,
before you know it, it'll come to the front of your brain.
I keep wanting to
but
say
it's still
3 minutes
stuck in
to
the
doom.
brainstorm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 3 minutes to doom and 3 and N like a.
with 3
all
and
these
N,
threes,
3
you know
minutes
what I'm
to
saying?
doom, and then brainstorming. It doesn't have anything to do with
fuck your head. We should just call it 3 brainstorming.
Brainstorming
3 brainstorming.
It's the third show that we started doing, so we could call it.
It is the third show, so yeah. Hey,
The rule of
everything's
3.
cyclical. And if you look at our 3 and N intro song that we're using from here on out, take a look at that, Brian. Take a look at the time. How long it is. How long is that?
33 seconds. Oh
33 seconds. But you know
my
what 33
goodness.
is? 33 is a motherfucking divine number, son. Whoa.
Yes, it is.
Whoa, divine number. All right, so we're going to let Yoda say some stuff in a minute, and then we are going to
Let Yoda say some stuff.
and roll. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no, it just played him. All right. So, Yoda, we'll get to you in just a second.
Oh, real quick, before we do Yoda, if anyone's interested, they can go watch a video and see the UN climate change officials saying we should make every effort to depopulate the planet. I haven't watched the video yet. I just discovered it, and I'm going to watch it as soon as we are off the air. And maybe
Yeah, a lot of
mention it
people
in the
think we
future.
should depopulate the planet. You know, sometimes I think the same way, and then I'm like, fuck that. That's like, there's enough room for all of us. I don't want to hear depopulate. Oh, there's not enough food. There's enough food. The only thing there's not enough of is money, and money's bullshit and fake and
No,
fucking.
no, that's the problem. There's too much bloody money, and it's all in the hands of like 6 families.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're bamboozled into thinking that there's not enough money, but yeah, you're right. There's too much money.
There's always enough money. They just print more.
But if you think about this, Brian, and we won't get into this, I won't even touch on this more.
No, the
than
Federal Reserve is a show in and of itself. So is the IMF World Bank.
I don't like the idea that when you think of a society where nobody has to pay for food and certain necessities, you start talking about a socialist or a communist society, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be some other form of a society where everybody helps each other out. We all take care of each other. We're allowed to. We grow food.
Well,
and
part of
share
that
with
stems
each other.
from the older
It's a
generation in the
libertarian
Cold
type
War.
society.
It stems from the people who lived during the Cold War, who anybody who ever mentioned
Star Trek
anything like
society.
that was like,
Yeah.
Oh, you're a communist.
Yeah.
You support Russia. You're a commie.
Yeah, but how come,
you
hold on,
freaking
hold on. How
commie.
come nobody tries to call out, I guess because nobody gives a shit about Star Trek like that, but nobody calls out Star Trek for being a communist universe or
You can find out,
socialist universe.
if you search or snoop around the
but-
internet enough, you can find people saying stuff like that.
Find it, but I don't know, dude. Alright, I don't know. It's been a fucking great show.
I remember seeing a YouTube video like about a year ago. Somebody trying to. I have to look for it again. I found it by accident. Actually, I was looking for something else.
Right.
Someone's claiming Starfleet is like an evil dictatorship, and what we see on Star Trek is just like the happy portray ourselves to other people, the front for the
I've
evil,
always thought about that,
ruthless
though. I've always
tyranny.
thought, like, is there an evil wing?
Well, did you
to
see
Starfleet?
Star Trek Into Darkness yet?
Yeah.
Well, the false flag with the way they used Khan and
but I
redid
don't-
that
the new
story, and
Star
the
Trek-
admiral was in on
the
it,
new
and he
Star
tried to
Treks
kill
aren't real
Kirk.
Star Treks. New Star Treks aren't real Star Treks. They're good, but they're not real Star Treks. They're not.
I just
sci-fi
like that they
enough, and they're
updated the technology.
They're not
for the
stories,
times.
dude. They're not real stories. They're action movies, and
Yeah.
And Star Trek is a story, and I enjoy the story aspect. And trust me, they're good action movies, the new ones, but they're not stories. J.J. Abrams, get on your shit, boy. All right, so. On this day-
They start as stories and end as violent action movies. Like
on this night of your life, Brian, on this night of your life, okay? I believe we're going like this is not a religious show either. I'm not even. I don't have a religion. I don't claim a religion. When you claim a religion, all of a sudden there's things that tack on.
Like that's
that,
why,
and that's what
I
you say
can't
you are, and
claim a
that's not-
specific
I'm not-
religion. I
don't
just know
claim
it
religion.
falls under somewhere under the umbrella
I have a spiritual connection
of
with God, and that's all I
Christianity.
need. I have a spiritual connection with the Creator,
Yeah.
my Creator, and that's all I need. All right, right?
I know he's up there and or down there or over there or
Ooh, he said
next to
down
me
there.
or in me or
whoa, Christian
wherever he might
fundamentalist,
be.
watch out! He just said down there. All right, listen. On this day of your life, Brian, I believe God wants you to know, and this is courtesy of Neil Donald Walsh. If anybody wants to look into him.
Walsh.
On this day of your life, Brian, I believe God wants you to know that if you think you have nothing to lose, you win. If you think you have something to win, you lose. It all drives to motivation. Why are you doing what you're doing right now? To avoid loss? To achieve gain? Wrong reason both times. Life is not about win and lose. Life is about being or not being, expressing or not expressing who you are. Don't do things for personal benefit, and don't do things to avoid personal damage. Do things to feel personal authenticity. Then your life will make sense, no matter what is going on around you. It is clear why you've been told this today. Yes?
It is clear.
It is clear. I'm going to have one of them for each show, folks. And I want to give a shout out to Neil Donald Walsh. I'd love to have you on my show. Or have you on my show. Our show. What a dick I am.
You freaking dick.
Fucking selfish. You're so vain.
Dude.
Probably. I curse so much, but hey, Neil. This is, I'm God. God has a good side and a bad side, a vulgar side and a soft side. You are very soft-spoken, and I honestly, if you ever get a chance to listen to some Neil Donald Walsh's, like, he's done interviews and stuff like that, he has such a soft voice and such a comforting voice, and it's like, that's the soft voice of God. I'm the vulgar, in-your-face voice of God, okay?
I'm just throwing this out there. For anyone that thinks we're robots and not real people, we are real people. If you pull
Of course
up,
we are.
If you go to the evidence is there. You go to Nick's Facebook page and put his picture next to Rick Moranis. You will find out Nick really is Rick Moranis. He is not a robot. And Alex Jones's real name is Ryan Monahan. He lives in Virginia.
He's gonna be so mad that you said his name on the air.
I didn't say anything about who he is or what he's.
But you said his name, and you said where he lives. He's gonna be so mad. But
Maybe that'll give him an excuse to come on the damn
the last
air.
5 minutes of the show.
And
so I
Rory?
guarantee you he's on. Yeah, Rory, get your ass.
Get
over
your
here,
ass
dude.
on this
All right?
show too.
Rory,
I want
you're
you
in
two on the
Jersey,
same
and
episode.
You need to get your ass over here. All right.
And I don't know what we're gonna talk about.
Hey,
We'll just maybe turn
you
the
can
camera
come-
on and just
No,
start shooting the shit.
No, he can come on and talk about goofy shit and off the wall shit on this show, or he can come on and talk serious. You want to come on to brainstorm and talk serious? That's fine.
I mean, we're not
But
here to ruin your
3NN
political work.
3NN. I'm sorry, but on most 3NNs, we're stoned up. We're not stoned out our minds, like we can't function and we can't speak. Hey, sometimes I brain fart like a mother, but
You
we're
did good
not-
today, though.
I did good.
You did
I
worse
didn't
on the
have
other
many-
show than you did on 3NN.
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. Well, I gotta get into my groove sometimes. And plus, you know, I'm still in work mode.
Kitty's
so-
behaving now.
Yeah. Are you petting him? Are you Dr. Evil over there?
Yeah, he's over here hanging out instead of trying to climb up the back of my chair.
All right, so Brian, I think it's been a great show. I'd like to thank you very much for being such the sport that you are.
Brandon Barrett says prisons suck.
Hey, pal, you're a sport. Thanks for being such a sport there, Brian. You know, you're a big sport. Hey, sport, you're a sport. Hey, sport, you're a sport. Hey, sport.
Speaking of sports,
You're a
go
sport.
Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
See, I find myself not caring about sports, and then I pull myself back into them ever so
What are you trying
slightly
to do?
to see if
What are you
they're
trying to
worth
do,
watching,
man?
and they don't never seem worth watching anymore, Brian. Sports suck anymore. All right.
No,
On
they don't.
that note, everybody have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday, 3NN Thursdays. This has been a great episode 25. If you'd like to find us on Facebook, facebook.com/3NN Podcast. If you want to contact us there, we can give you our Skype name. You can Skype in. It would be great to have some guests, you know, making it actually
Some
three
expert advisors.
three non-nerds other than a cat as our third non-nerd, you know. Who
Oh,
likes
wait,
to
we
just
have...
fuck
Oh, no,
around.
Alf got shot. That's right.
Yeah, Alf got shot.
His hands were up and they shot.
We got Guy Fawkes, but he's watching a 3D movie, so he's occupied at the occupado at the
Okay,
moment.
kitty. Now you're all up in my face.
All right. So Brian's got some pussy in his face, so he's obviously done for the show. So we're gonna wrap it up with that. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm looking at a camera that is not even there. So you guys.
And the
thank you.
tripod's over there without the camera on it.
Hey, I can look at the tripod. Hey, tripod. But then the microphone.
Hey,
goes.
tripod with no
All right.
camera.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. Check out thebigplantation.com, 3NM Podcast,
Are you having
on-
fun, cat?
YouTube. Oh, hey, dude, I didn't even tell you. You can check out our shows, both of our shows, 3NM Podcast and Brainstorming, and also 3 Minutes to Doom. You can check all three of these shows out on youtube.com/wherewelied-to. We have a new YouTube.
Is this for real?
This is for real, Brian. You go to YouTube. So the channel's actually, it was Tesla Time. I was liking the Tesla Time thing. I'm going to transition that channel over to something else, and actually it's going to turn into Where We Lied To. It's going to be the Where We Lied To channel, Where We Lied To network, or something like that. But you go to youtube.com/Where We Lied To. You come to us, baby. You come to us. You're watching us. So check us on out, and everybody have a great week.
Oh, youtube.com/wherewelied.
Yeah.
See, I went to YouTube and just searched Where We Lied To, and I got all kinds of stuff
Oh,
coming
well,
up.
yeah,
but-
come on, Brian. We're the official Where We Lied To. And we might even get the Where We Lied To website, too, whereweliedto.com, which I did
Hey,
have
that would
at
be
one
pretty
point.
cool.
I
if
did
you
have
could
that
pull
website at one
shit
point,
off,
so
man.
that'd be pretty cool.
You got that kind of pull,
So is
do
it
ya?
pulling up there for you, Brian? Let's see.
Oh, yes,
Can we
it
verify?
is. Look at this.
All right, youtube.com/Where We Lied To, facebook.com/3NM Podcast. Please like us, share us, subscribe on YouTube. And, hey, the more support we get, the more we're going to take. Hey, you know what?
You can also reach that same page at youtube.com/user/DougieBoy27.
Yeah,
what the
everybody
hell
knows.
was that?
DougieBoy27 is my original YouTube page, and you know what? I just started uploading stuff on it, and it never let me change the actual name of it. I don't know why you got to expose my shit like that, but anybody that goes to it, it changes it from Where We Lied To up at the top to DougieBoy27.
Yeah.
So whatever. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me. It was actually before that song came out. You know, I like the name Doug and Dougie Fresh, so I was thinking
I
of
gotcha.
Dougie, but it was like.
But Doug Tesla.
Believe it
just
or not,
don't
no, but what you got to hear is this is sick, and I'm gonna literally finish off the show with this. The reason I called it that, and I at one point I was kind of like I was a bad motherfucker, to be honest, right? I called myself Mr. BAD, right? Mr. Big Ass Dick, right?
Wow.
And my name Dougie Boy actually came from Dougie because I like the name Doug and Dougie, right?
That was a cool show.
Great
when we
show,
were kids.
but also because I felt like I was like a master at slanging dick. Not like I was a male slut or anything, but I was a master at slanging dick, and I know how to dig deep, put it in, dig deep. So I'm a Dugger. I know how to dug. I dug deep into that shit, you know, Dougie. You get it? All right. Anyway, on that weird note, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you for joining us, and we're gonna go get high. All right.
I don't have a harmonica. I can't play a harmonica. I have a harmonica at home. I can't play it. This is all Nick showing you his skills. See, Nick says that he can't play that, but he's a champion compared to me.
That's Neil Young. Ready?
Give me some Tom Petty.
Lisa.
Give me some petty.
All right, how about some, what do you call it? I don't know Petty. I do know Petty, but I don't know his harmonica.
Yeah.
How about some John Popper? John Popper went crazy with this shit.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how he
did
did
not
it.
have a heart attack? All right, anyway, you ready? It's been a great week, great show. Everybody have a great rest of the week. Great
And we hope you had a happy
Thursday.
Easter and all that stuff.
And don't forget to check out, what do you call it? Brainstorming with Brian McBride and Nick Tesla.
Brainstorming, 3 Minutes to Doom,
Yeah.
YouTube /
3
where we
Minutes to Doom.
lied
Check
to.
that out. It's pretty cool stuff. That's something you could show to somebody on your lunch break on your phone and be like, yo, check out this video. And they can watch it and be like, oh, shit, that's pretty cool. So, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. I don't know when he starts. Look, you got to wait. Because Yoda starts talking as soon as you see shit going. Please,
I
please.
just
There
can't
you go.
do it, Captain. I don't have the power. I'm a Dr. Jim, not a nutritionist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Smoke some weed and smoke some more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Legalize and regulate. Alex Jones packs a cock meat sandwich for lunch every day. Mark Dice is a scab on the skin of the earth.
What rolls downstairs from motor and pairs rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a long. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your long. Everyone needs a long.
Log from Blammo.